So let me start this one off by talking about my experience with Dragon Ball Z games. I want to say that Dragon Ball Z games really didn't start coming out here in the West until the PS2 era, and they started with Dragon Ball Z Budokai. And they kind of started this pattern with the different games. You got Budokai 1, it was okay. Didn't have nearly that many characters, looked a little rough, but it was something for us to play as Dragon Ball Z fans. Then 2 came out, and they completely revamped the graphics. They moved to cel-shaded graphics, and not a very good story mode, but you had a lot more characters in it. Then 3 came out, and they blew the doors off of it. They actually made a really good fighting system with Budokai 3. All the characters from the second one, they sharpen up the graphics even more, and it's like the pinnacle of that series. And then they kind of started things over on the PS2 with Tenkaichi Budokai, and it was a 3D arena fighter. Then, with that one, you couldn't transform in the middle of battle. Like, you had to pick your form and go into battle like that, which was kind of a letdown, since that's a big part of Dragon Ball Z, the transformations and power-ups and stuff.
That's like any fighting anime game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anime fighting game.
That and the roster wasn't huge. You had more than you had in the first Budokai. But it was decent. Then 2 came out, and oh my goodness, such a better looking game. The environments were bigger. They looked so much better. Lots more characters. You could transform mid-battle. And then 3 came out, and there's over 100 playable characters in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. It's a ridiculous amount of content in that game. So basically, they had this thing with the third game in the series is the one that you really only need to have the best experience. So I kind of got tired of that, and I stopped buying Dragon Ball Z games after that. And sure enough, through the last generation and even this generation, it's kind of been like, don't buy this Dragon Ball Z game because there's going to be a bigger and better one next year. But then I heard about Dragon Ball FighterZ. And you heard about Dragon Ball FighterZ. Are you looking forward to this game, Matt?
I know I've mentioned it on here before that I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan. Never have been, and I don't know if I ever will be. I've been told, I think mostly by you, that the original series was really good. I guess when it was Kid Goku.
I'm not one of those people that think that it was much, much better than Z.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the one that's out now is terrible.
What, Super?
I can't stand it. I watched 2 episodes and I wanted to cry. And just people are okay with this.
It's not as good as Z, but it's better than GT.
So, not a fan of it. This game looks, just the visuals alone make me want to get it. It looks like you're playing in the anime. The people who made these models should get an award for making the most anime looking fighting game ever. As close to the real content.
Right.
It basically looks like, oh, that's the show, and that's all. Wait, that's a video game?
I'll say it even looks better than the anime, if that makes any sense. Because it doesn't matter what angle you see these character models from, it looks like a drawn image. And it's the thing, the weak part about Dragon Ball Z, the anime, is there's not a whole lot of consistency. You can tell when certain teams are animating certain episodes, and they have their best team, and then they have their second best team, and then they have their crap team. There's some episodes that are just horribly animated, and I can always tell when I watch the show which ones are badly done. There's none of that here, of course, because it's a video game. But this is better than what's the name of the place that produces this. Toei Animation. This is like better than anything that they've ever produced. And and it's one of those few games that looks just as good, like just looking at a screenshot of it, as it does in action. Like the way that the characters move, their frames of animation match how an anime matches up. Are you watching the trailer right now? Yeah.
This is the third time I've watched it, and it's just... I'm sorry, but if you're a sucker for just like good animation and just like visuals that look amazing,
yeah,
you'll watch this a lot, because
yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And it's made by Arc Systems, and they're the same people that made the Guilty Gear games. This game is actually very similar to, I think they're called Guilty Gear Revelator.
Yes.
It's like the most recent version of that game. But basically, they've mastered the art of creating 3D cel-shaded models that when they are viewed from, on a two-dimensional plane, they look like sprites. But they're not. They're 3D models. But they animate like sprites. It's insane. I don't know how they've done it. And this is Unreal Engine 4 pulling this off, which I didn't even know that it could do. This is the same thing that, Batman Arkham Knight runs on, and Mortal Kombat 10, and Street Fighter 5, and Rocket League, for crying out loud, runs on Unreal Engine 4. This is a good showcase of just how flexible that graphics engine is. The gameplay, it's fast and frantic. I don't think we've had a Dragon Ball Z game that plays this fast. It's 3-on-3. You can call your teammates in for an assist move basically at any time. I don't think that it's to the point where it's Marvel vs. Capcom where you can swap in and tag in a character. I haven't seen that. They did say, I heard someone say that this game, as it is at E3, and I think that there's like a total of 5 characters that people were playing as at E3. Maybe 6. I think it's Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, and then Goku, Vegeta, and Teen Gohan. Like, those were like the 6 that people could choose from. They said that this game's only 20% done right now. Yeah. So if this is what it's looking like at 20%, I can only imagine. And of course, it also has all the other stuff that you would expect in Dragon Ball Z games. When you land a very devastating attack, like the whole planet, like you just see like a huge, zoom out, or beam attack or something like that. And then when you come back from that match, you've destroyed everything and you keep fighting. Because that's how the show is.
I think if anyone's going to make a power fantasy anime turn into a fighting game, I love Ultimate Ninja Storm, the Naruto fighting games. I think they're amazing, and I personally think they handle the 3D battle arena better than any other.
Oh, I would say they're better than the Budokai Tenkaichi.
The way, because they've been doing it for a long time in that way, and it just feels so good to fight like that. I think they should try. Maybe I don't know. It might be just like, oh, it's the same thing as that. It's just copying. I feel like that would happen a lot, but ooh, or better yet, One Piece. Like, One Piece, please, make a good fighting game.
Yeah, I did see something when people were playing. It seems like you probably only have one form to fight in. Like basically Goku, Vegeta, Teen Gohan are all fighting as Super Saiyans. I didn't see anyone fighting as a basic form. Cell was perfect form. Frieza was final form. Buu was just Fat Buu. But that's kind of like the most recognizable version of him anyway. So I'm I think I saw Goku pull off a move where he does a combo, but he goes Super Saiyan 3 for the combo, and then once the combo's over, he goes back to Super Saiyan regular. So it's probably not exactly how I would do things, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Get it at 20%. I think the few times they were in their normal fighting forms.
Well, I think when they when the battle starts, like they transform. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't really. They haven't given us a whole lot of specifics other than it's going to be 3-on-3. And
it was just a sizzle reel.
Yeah,
but ooh,
it's looking so good.
The name, I think, is... I don't know. I think they could have... With the names that they've had...
Oh, the actual name of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best. Dragon Ball Fighter... Not Dragon Ball Fighters with a Z, but Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Or Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I don't know. Maybe work on it.
Matt wants a better name, people.